There we are.
Good morning and afternoon, David. How are you?
Doing well. Keeping things lively here. And
never a dull moment on live television.
Right. So,
Yes.
yeah, getting going. The markets still look strong.
The markets are moving very well here. We'll run through some of that. It looks like, are we still having problems with our feed?
Yeah, what's going on here? Well, I still see some notifications.
All right. Are we live? I know we're live for you guys. We'll continue the show here. Okay, Smart Money just put us on there. Smart Money Culture TV. Thanks for having us on, guys. And I'm not sure what is going on with the Instagram, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Sometimes they are a little funny. Sometimes the Instagram can be a little funny.
Yeah, a lot of media is at play here.
A lot of media is at play. So pretty interesting time that we have going on here. Of course, we have the markets are responding. We've had a bit of a pullback over the last little bit. And then as well, we have the weakening of the U.S. dollar. And anytime the dollar weakens, of course, that means that your money is inflating and the markets will go up. So commodities will go up as well as stocks and everything like that. Of course, you want exposure in those markets so that you can participate in that. But you got to keep that in mind. That is what is going on here. So we have Trump with a historic win yesterday in the New Hampshire primary. Really just hit it out of the park. I mean, this guy, he is such a star. It looks to me like he has this thing just wrapped up. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I'm wondering, why do you call it a historic win for New Hampshire?
The reason it is a historic win is because it is the first time in the history of the New Hampshire primary that one person has won the New Hampshire primary 3 times in a row. So Donald Trump is the first person to have won the New Hampshire primary 3 times in a row.
Very cool. So that's a job well done, Mr. Trump.
Yes, job well done, Mr. Trump. Of course, he's he really knows how to make the rounds as well. I'll play a little bit of some of the stuff that he was saying last night. I know we did it earlier on the show as well, but for those who are tuning in now, let's see here. Harry, I find in life. Oh well, I can't say that on TV, so I'm not gonna do that one. But let me share my screen here.
You are a well-censored speaker.
Yes, we're well censored. We have to be.
Donald Trump.
You changed your vote this morning.
Yes,
why?
I think the primary's over. I think that Mr. Trump's going to be our next candidate. It's my vote this morning. I went instead of voting for.
Be the next candidate. Of course, as the first wave came in, I put this out. There was a lot. First wave of New Hampshire exit polling has the majority of voters in the Republican primary identifying as Democrats and independents.
We asked folks coming into the polls, do you identify as a Republican? Do you identify as a Democrat, or do you identify as an independent? And here's what we found in this exit poll so far. And I think this jumps right out at you. A minority of voters in this first wave of the exit poll in the Republican primary identify as Republicans. A majority, 53%, identify as either independents, 45%, or, and this is a high number historically, 8% identify as Democrats. For some context here, in 2016, the last competitive Republican presidential primary in New Hampshire, the electorate was 55% Republican. It was 42% independent, and it was 3% Democratic. So in this initial wave, you're seeing some significant differences from 2016.
I mean, talk about it being rigged. I mean, so you're telling me that over half of the electorate that participated, 8% and 45%, that's 53% of everyone that voted in the Republican primary wasn't Republicans.
Yeah, they don't do that in the other states. You can only vote if you're a registered Republican for the candidate.
I'm not sure why that is allowed to happen. I don't think that should be allowed to happen. I think Donald Jr. came out and he said, what is this? And I think rightfully so. It doesn't happen in all of the states, but it does happen in a lot of them. And I think that just trying to find my perfect match here. Is that better? No, it's not better. Definitely in Iowa, it was that way. And in New Hampshire, it was obviously that way. And so that is a pretty interesting situation. I think that is something that we should take care of. And it shouldn't be like that. I mean, if you're going to participate in the primary, you should be part of the party. That's the deal.
That is the deal. It's pretty common and standard. So interesting to see that play out this way.
Yeah, so here they are talking about it again.
Are registered Republicans. Here, take a look at the numbers. Among Trump voters, 70% of them, according to our exit polls, are registered Republicans. Donald Trump, his support, 27% of his voters are registered undeclared or independents. 3% were unregistered before today. Look at how that compares with Nikki Haley. It's a complete reversal. It's an alternate universe. Among Haley voters, 70% are Democrat pieces of shit that can kiss my ass.
Sorry about that, guys.
Take a look at the numbers. Among Trump voters, 70%.
That's exactly what we predicted. That's exactly what
we predicted.
And it's not surprising that did happen. The Democratic voters would go and vote for Haley.
That is exactly what we said. So this is some vintage Trump. This is pretty interesting here. Vintage Trump.
What were you like as a kid?
How come this seat is at such a low level? I'm looking at him. He's got this stage rigged, folks.
No.
But that seat is a good half, 6 inches higher than my seat.
And so am I.
Huh? I see.
What were you like as a kid? What kind of childhood did you have?
Well, I had a good childhood, wonderful parents, really good parents, and it was a good, solid childhood, I'd say. Very normal in a lot of respects, but a very, very solid childhood.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of family.
Are you a driven person? Did you jump out of bed in the morning and just...
I don't think of myself as driven. I'm fortunate. I don't need lots of sleep like some people, and some people don't. I don't need that. I would say that I'm somebody that enjoys what I do, and I enjoy it so much that perhaps I do it well. But I really enjoy what I do. I don't like to think of myself as driven. I don't like to think of myself really as ambitious. I just enjoy what I do.
What would it take? What kind of a hit would it take to get your attention where you would maybe need a drink? Where somebody came in and said, Don, we got some bad news. Woo! That's 7-Eleven in Akron. Well, what?
Hopefully, David, I wouldn't be in a position where I'd have to take that kind of...
I know that. I know. We're just pretending.
I just want to tell you that.
You act like you're running for something.
No.
What's the deal with you and Ed Koch? Is this an old irritation between the two of you, or is this something new?
No, it's really not. Ed Koch is a man who I've liked at some points in terms of... I have no objection to Ed except for one thing. He's not a very capable or competent mayor. He's done...
Whoa!
He's done a bad, as most of you New Yorkers would probably know, he's done a pretty bad job running New York, and that hurts me and it hurts everybody. And when I see somebody that's not competent and he's running something and something that I have really a big stake in, it bothers me and I do something about it.
Are you speaking from a position of somebody who has a lot of really, really special interest in the city?
No, it's not I do have a special interest. I have a special interest in New York. New York City is a hot city. It's a great city. It's the greatest city in the world, according to many, and according you're here and we're also here.
Right.
And I hate to see some of the things happening with New York that have happened under the Koch administration. So I hit him pretty hard in the book. but I hit him fairly in the book. I hit him very fairly.
Yeah.
Probably very hard in the book, but very fairly.
Is it kind of a pointless defense to say that this city is so big that it is actually unmanageable to a certain extent, and he's doing the best he can, sort of just tending it day to day?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I hope that's never a defense of anybody. I did the Woolman skating rink in 4 months for $2 million or $2.5 million. They started 7 years before that and were unable to build it. I think they spent something like $15 million.
This is a huge ice skating facility in Central Park, which the city was
7 years. 7 years.
7 years. They could not get it open.
They could not build it.
Yeah.
And we did it in 4 months. So, you know, you say, hey, it's big and everything else, and give them a little bit more time. But the fact is, that's a disgrace. The zoos are a disgrace. The subways, the schools. It's really, David, it's really management. It's management, it's competence, it's capability, it's just basic ability, and Ed Koch doesn't have it.
Yeah, but you're speaking again from the over the fence in private enterprise. He's trying to run a municipal administration.
It can be done.
You think it could be done?
Absolutely. By the right person, it could be done.
Yeah. Any thoughts? I mean, would you want to be mayor of this city?
I wouldn't want to be mayor. It'd run very well if I was mayor, but I would not want to be the mayor of New York.
And what about the are people trying to draft you to run for president up in New Hampshire?
Well, I guess a lot of people want to see this country. It's a shame what's happening. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, everybody's taking advantage of the United States. People know that if certain people are running a country, that it won't happen. I mean, when you look at Japan, not paying for the defense. We're defending Japan. We're losing billions and billions of dollars. We're fighting for AIDS help and for farmers and for this and that. And it's a shame. And the Japanese folks, who I respect greatly, but they're not treating us fairly. They're really not treating us fairly. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, they're not paying us anything for the services we're rendering. And I think it's a disgrace. And I think people look at certain people, and maybe me, if I were in a position, this country, believe me, would not be ripped off like it is, and it is just being ripped off so badly by our so-called allies.
Yeah. So that's a pretty strong statement. So now, are you saying?
I don't think it's strong. I think it's fair. And by the way, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese. I do a lot of business with the Japanese, and they smile about it too. They know it. The country is losing billions and billions of dollars to Japan, and we can't afford to lose. And it's a shame.
But so now, are you saying this by way of indicating that you could do it better, and you do intend to run for president at some point?
No, I'm not going to run for president, but I think somebody.
Now, in 8 years, if you came back, would you have a different answer? In 4 years?
I tend to doubt it. I really tend to doubt it. But I just think that there's so many ways that this country can straighten itself out, and we're not going about those ways. Cutting farm aid is not the appropriate thing. Cutting help for the homeless and help for the poor and welfare. Certain things can be done that really will mean big dollars to this country. And those things are not being done right now.
Let me ask you one other question, because I know you have other appointments and stuff to get to. If you go to dinner and the bill is like, say, $25, how much of a tip would you throw down?
Well, you know, the way I feel about tips, if somebody does a super job, I give more than anyone. And if somebody does a lousy job, I probably give less than anybody. And that's the way I feel about life. Life should be, you should be rewarded for competence and capability and doing a job and having a smile on your face, maybe, if that's the case. And I'm a pretty good tipper when somebody's good, and I'm a pretty lousy tipper if somebody's not good. So that's the way it is.
But, you know, sitting here listening to this stuff, it seems to me you are dying to get to some public platform to superimpose those feelings upon the American awareness.
Well, maybe so, but I'm not. I would like to have the feelings known and let somebody else do it, and it can be done. If the ball's carried correctly, it can be done.
Yeah, but if you want something done right,
do it yourself.
I'll tell you, you know, he was always that guy, right? I mean, he was one of those guys. I mean, I know growing up, I just thought everybody wanted to be like Trump, right? And this is what I was saying about the first time that somebody has won in 3 times.
The other history made tonight, Jesse, is that Donald Trump is now the only person ever to win the New Hampshire primary 3 times. The other history made tonight, Jesse, is that
the only president to win 3 times. Of course, you have Nancy stumbling around there. This is fairly interesting here. They're talking about this border bill collapsing.
This is all Biden's fear that they
may. I'm going to play this clip, but Biden does not need Congress to approve any spending for the wars or for Ukraine or anything like that, because the central bank is going to print whatever he wants anyway. And that's the situation that we're in. That's
Maybe imploding. Senators temper expectations of a deal being reached, with even some believing that President Biden doesn't want an agreement.
This is all Biden wants. He wants to reach a bipartisan deal with Republicans in the Senate, then have the House not pass it. And then he can go around saying, look, we tried. The crazy Republican MAGA people in the House wouldn't do it. So now they own the border crisis.
So Chad Pergram tracks that. Is it dead in the water, Chad, or no?
Well, good morning, Bill. Back in the 80s, it was where's the beef? In the Senate, it's where's the bill, as in the border bill. Talks have dragged on for nearly 2 months and still no text of the bill. That frustrates senators.
Sounds like they're a little behind schedule for that, but I'd like to see at this point, I'd like to see some text. We've had everybody tell us this is the best deal in the world, and nobody has seen a scrap of paper.
Some skeptics do not like what they're hearing, even though they have not seen the bill. They believe the bill spends too much money. They worry it allows for too much overall immigration.
I promise you, in the end, they'll say, we're going to fix the border. We just need to hire more judges and more people to process people. No, you fix the border by telling people go back home. We're full on the illegal side. We'll take you if you apply. If you have a job, you should have a sponsor. You show up.
One negotiator, Democrat Chris Murphy, says they don't have much more to do. Murphy says it's possible the bill could hit the floor this week. There's concern that some lawmakers just want to kill the bill out of hand.
Sadly, it's clear there are some in this Congress and beyond who wish to prevent bipartisan action on the border and on our national security challenges. These minority voices are cynically working to stymie bipartisan cooperation.
Negotiators are now working on the international aid portion of the bill. There's concern about getting money to Ukraine. That part of the bill was left behind. Bill?
There you go. There you go. Now, this is pretty interesting, too. This is pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys heard this. Remember, David, we talked about this.
What it's about.
You can take a pause. Did you hear this, David, or was that James I was talking to about it?
I don't think I heard this. I don't know.
All right. So look at this. Arizona Republican Party Chair Jeff DeWitt tries to pay off Carrie Lake. I mean, this is like, and I don't know who recorded it or how, but here it is right here. This is something else.
I can be bought.
This is the Republican Party chair for, let me just not mess that up, Jeff DeWitt, Arizona Republican Party chair. And I think he's still a chair at the moment until probably we make him leave.
Is there a number at which
I can be bought?
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would that anybody would think this is.
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me. So what's going on? I'm assuming this is our friend.
This is back east. There are very powerful people who want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So this conversation never happened.
This is crazy, though. They should want me. I'm a great candidate. People love me. These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
They are right. They are corrupt.
This is rap. Don't go. You never know. I'll get myself in trouble. This, if you say no, which is fine, it's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man, right? They see the cartel's operating in 50 states right now, like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, "Gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this." If you say no, don't. If you say I got offered to buy out, don't use it, because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate, because they don't own me, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's not about ownership.
So she does drop a couple of she drops an F-bomb in there, I think, and we're on TV in Texas and Louisiana, and my producer is going to lose his shirt or certainly be quite upset if I let that play. But suffice to say, that's the important part that we just heard right there. Jeff DeWitt, the chair of the Arizona Republican Party, trying to bribe on tape, trying to bribe Carrie Lake. I mean, this is the state of the politics in the U.S. This is absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she has a simple solution. She's a great candidate, wants to do good for the people, and let's find a way to work together.
Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, and who are these powerful people he's talking about? Then he drops the cartel.
Yeah, and he says, "Don't worry about who. Let's talk about what we could do."
Follows up with, the cartel is working in all 50 states.
Well, that's alarming, right?
That is alarming. I absolutely agree. The whole thing is alarming. Wow. I agree. Wow is right, Sir Rich Quack. I mean, this is like the stuff, but here's the thing. I mean, I don't know. Isn't that so? Remember years ago, John Blasio or whatever his name was in Chicago, he got in trouble for trying to sell the Senate seat. When Obama stepped down to be the president, Ron de Blasio. What? Anyway, someone can comment that name. I forget it. Rob de Blasio. I can't remember the name. Anyway, man, he went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how different this is. I mean, I'm not sure how different it is, but it's definitely over the line. I mean, this is what's going on. And guys, this is the big problem that we have in the Republican Party right now. Of course, we have Ronna, right? We have Ronna up there. And I said actually earlier on a month or two ago, I said, guys, the mix are fine. I was totally surprised that we got rid of the Speaker of the House. I was really, really surprised at that. Now, you saw we replaced him with just another guy that does the exact same thing. So then, okay, I get it. Nothing really changed. But Ronna is still appears to be just totally fine there in her position. Shouldn't Ronna be taking us? She should fire this guy. I mean, why in the world should this be allowed? But that's the problem that we have right now in this situation, is that even the local level, the chairs of the different states are corrupt. Obviously, I mean, how can you say this is anything other than corrupt?
Well, this is definitely some dirty play and some pay to play going on, and it's really not acceptable.
It's not acceptable, David.
It's really not.
David, make sure to follow Sir David Porter on X at Sir David Porter. I'm at Networks Manager. We're bringing up the Mikhail Hannes here in a couple minutes with Aurora Coin. It is their anniversary, but I wanted to go over a couple of things. This I thought was pretty interesting too. Tysons Food is investing in an insect factory. This is absolutely over the top.
Foods, one of the world's biggest meat producers, is now investing in insect protein. Tyson has recently announced their partnership with world's leading insect ingredient company, Protix. They're planning on building a U.S. factory to expand the use of insect ingredients for sustainable proteins and lipids for the use in the global food system. Tyson said that the facility will breed, incubate, and hatch insect larvae and will use animal waste to feed black soldier flies. So basically, when insects eat animal waste, they're essentially serving as mini bioreactors. This will then be turned into food for pets, livestock, and fish. Oh, but don't worry, they have no plans to incorporate it into human food yet. Now, do you think they will stop at just feeding the animals, or do you think they'll expand to Tyson Foods, one of the world's biggest meat producers?
Come on.
Is
like what is the deal with the insects too? And the thing about the insects as well is our body doesn't even really digest them that well. Humans aren't really supposed to eat insects. Now in Vietnam and stuff like that, Dad told me they would do all kinds of stuff. But this is not Vietnam, okay, folks.
And I don't think those were insects. Those might have been larger bugs of some type.
Not insects.
Yeah, and to think that they're also merged towards using these insects in your protein powders and your protein bars and things like this in your processed foods, that's disgusting, really.
It's disgusting. Well, that's the thing is that's going to happen. Like they're not just going to stop there. I mean, it's just that's not the way the world works. They're not going to stop there. All right. Cruising back to Mr. Vladimir here.
Наверное, можно все сфальсифицировать, так как в Соединенных Штатах фальсифицировали предыдущие выборы через голосование по почте. Наверное, можно все сфальсифицировать, так как в Соединенных Штатах фальсифицировали предыдущие выборы через голосование по почте. Ну, понятно, что это голосование по почте. Сколько они зависит до бюллетеня.
It's obvious. They bought $10 ballots and they stuffed them with nobody watching. Without any outside observation.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, right? I feel like maybe they're not too worried about Trump's work because they still have the magic voting machines.
It's absolutely correct. Now, I will say this, and I said it. I was at Bitcoin Ben's event there in Sarasota a few months ago, and I told everybody, look, guys, I think they've already decided. I think that they already decided that Trump is going to win, and all they're doing, and I said this the other day on our show as well, and all they're doing really is just trying to make sure that he can't get anything done once he's in. Now, I could be wrong, but if the will of the people is Donald Trump, and so if they really stop Donald Trump now, I mean, they really have something on their hands. Now, they don't seem to really care. You see what's going on down at the border, with the razor wire and all these things. And then just one more. I can't on this one. Hold on. Trump trolling Nikki Haley. This is just Trump is the master troller.
And today, I have to tell you, it was very interesting because I said, wow, what a great victory. But then somebody ran up to the stage all dressed up nicely when it was at 7. But now I just walked up and it's at 14. But she ran up when it was 7. And, we have to do what's good for our party. And she was up and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win, she lost. And last week we had a little bit of a problem. And if you remember, Ron was very upset because she ran up and she pretended she won Iowa. And I looked around, I said, didn't she come in third? Yeah, she came in third. And today, I have to tell you, it was very interesting.
Yeah, he's funny. He's a funny guy. He's entertaining, that's for sure. He's certainly entertaining. Okay, a little bit of the markets here. We have, of course, we have had a nice, pretty nice run up here on Bitcoin. Let me zoom out to the daily here. You can take a look at that bit of a bounce here. It looks like Matt thinks that was probably the bounce. We will see. There's a lot of macroeconomic forces at play. The Dow is up about 120 points. And that, of course, we're really at all-time highs here. I was going to share this tab. We should do this more. This is Vey.io, their platform here. You can see the major ones here. Binance is down a little bit. Solana up about 5 points. Pretty nice movements though. Overall, pretty healthy market here. And the reason is, of course, that we have, and let me just refresh that and make sure I have a fresh reading on it. But you can see the US dollar index here is down about 0.5%. Now, if I take this out and go on a larger, 1 month, okay, you can see as this loads, we're going up, 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 up here as the markets have been kind of declining, the dollar's getting stronger, and then a sharp downturn here. And I think, they're going to have to print more money in order to keep the economy going well. It's an election year, so as much as they want to keep the inflation down, they're going to continue to do that, and we're going to see this really turn, and the dollar is going to continue to go down. And you can see even as well on the different commodities here, oil is up. I wouldn't say sharply, but I mean, that's a high. Oil at 75.5. That's the highest it's been in a while. And that, of course, as we have, you can see this is the yearly here, but you see we were down. I mean, it was quite a bit higher earlier. Let's look at the 1 month. See, we're just rising here. Oil rising quite a bit. Silver is up as well, sharply. Natural gas, you can see up 6% on the natural gas. So natural gas took a dive as we had everything happening in the Red Sea. And then now they're talking about a 1 month or longer ceasefire over there in Gaza. And if that happens, of course, natural gas is going to be able to flow. And probably that is what is influencing this, because they stopped a lot of the natural gas shipments. So active markets for sure all around. Like I said, silver's up, gold's down a little bit now. Let's bring on our friend. It is the 1 year anniversary. So, I mean, the 10 year. It's the 10 year. The 10 year anniversary of Aurora Coin. Aurora Coin, our friend Mikhail Hannes here joined us again. Mikhail, I know we were on this morning, so we can kind of pick up where we left off. 10-year-old coin. Congratulations on this. Aurora Coin was the first and I don't know the last really national coin. It was started 10 years ago. We were in the space. It was just this meteoric rise up, 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 up. Everybody in Iceland was available. They were able to have this airdrop, and then they had the airdrop. And these things, guys, these projects like this. I remember talking to our developer years ago, and he's, Bruce, this is a long-term project. And I thought, gosh, long-term project, whatever. And here we are 10 years later. He's right. It's a long-term project. Aurora Coin is going to be around in another 10 years, more than likely, because it's still here. So, how are you feeling?
If we're all still here, yeah, I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on again, twice in one day on this 10-year anniversary.
Of course, it's our pleasure.
I've been spending some time today in retrospective thought. I had my regular job to work on for a little bit. I work on an IT project half my time. And it's, coming on the tail end of your news stories there and what's going on. I mean, it's we're kind of all just holding our breath every year at this, it seems, as far as what kind of environment are we working in? We know what our project is. We know what our vision is. We know what the technical hurdles are and everything. But we're really there's a lot of faith, and there's a lot of really dedication and heart space that's really required in these projects that we're working on. I know that you work with Global Boosty. It's also been around a long time, and a lot of these projects that have not either had enough large capital or were kind of niche markets. I mean, Digibyte and Dash, they're fulfilling similar roles to what we're trying to do, right? Which is to offer a digital version of a fiat system, all with having its own focus group and let's say charitable considerations, right? As far as Aurora Coin being an Icelandic based coin, I mean, my hope is that we I'm able to uplift thousands of my friends along, and yeah. So looking back on these 10 years has been kind of interesting. I was thinking about maybe taking it a little bit more jovial, and I'm celebrating a 10-year birthday here today. I don't celebrate my own birthday per se. I mean, but there's a lot to.
I don't blame you. I don't really celebrate mine anymore either.
Yeah. The Bible doesn't have much to say about celebrating birthday. And the day of our death is more worthy than a day of our birth. But that's really like we have one lifetime to really make an impact here, right?
Yes.
And but I think I think like being involved in this space as we go along is something that I'm really grateful for. I mean, I mentioned before that I was born here in Iceland, but I grew up in Texas. I went to the University of Texas Business School, so I got my Management Information System degree there. Austin, Texas, home of Digibyte, right? So now I'm here in Iceland, and after many years and being in the States, and about 10 years ago, like, okay, let's give Iceland a try, and I'll leave up the freedom fighting to my brother and sisters in arms back there in the States and see what I could do here. But I'm just really, I'm really grateful to have kind of inherited a project like Aurora Coin, and something that I can, my third chance or whatever at making like a big impact in the world. I mean, there's higher goals or higher states of impact, as it were. But we're all having to work within our own space, our own life, and we try to apply what we've been given to us in a way that is full of grace and justice and truth. So I'm really happy to look back at these 10 years and be hopeful for what's in the future. I mean, we've learned a lot in these 10 years as far as small coins, about what our obligations are for maintaining the network and being truthful to our message, and having some fun as we go along, and so.
Well, that's it's really interesting, and 10 years, man, it's a long time, right? So it's something else, and that's what I tell people as well when we talk about these old coins, these old proof of work coins. That I always tell people, well, go look at the GitHub and make sure that there's been some updates on them, in the recent time, and that their code is up. But I mean, these things are like the old tractors, the old tractors, the diesel tractors. You go out there and you can sit there for like 10 or 15 years even, or these old tractors, and you fire them up, you put some diesel in there, maybe you check a few things, and the doggone things fire up. And that's how these old blockchains are. And that's what I tell people, especially, it's interesting that you say, as my brothers there in the US continue to fight, because it is a fight here. It is absolutely fight. We're fighting for the freedom, not only our own freedom, but really for the freedom of the world. And people say, oh no, we're fighting for our own freedom, but we're the last bastion of freedom on earth. We're not even really free anymore. But these old blockchains, these old things, if things really do hit the fan, which they might, guys, they really might. These old blockchains that are impossible to seize, freeze, or anything else, these might end up being, some of the ways that we're able to move information and move value between each other around the world. You try traveling with $50,000, $100,000 worth of gold or silver. Man, that's rough. Okay, that's hard. You're gonna get a lot of questions too. Never mind just carrying it. But that is something else. Try traveling with $50,000 worth of Bitcoin or Litecoin or Aurora Coin or Global Boost or Digibyte that you mentioned, and that's pretty easy. You can just keep that stuff in your head. You don't have to take anything with you. You don't have to have anything on your computer even. You can just take your seed phrase. And that is something very, very special. And we don't know. We don't know what the future holds. Right now, we are in uncharted territory. We're in uncharted territory on our own blockchains going into our 10th year. And we're in uncharted territory in our countries too.
That's right. That's right. And we, being, not financial advisors, but taking our, or having a stake in our projects and also Bitcoin and other projects. Not sure where I was going with that, because one thing kept on popping in my mind, which you were just saying about the added value. And I hear people at the pool or whatever. I just went to the swimming pool right now, and it's a great thing about being in Iceland and living a very health-centric life. I'll touch about that later. But blockchains are like, they're really just like layers and layers and layers of added value, starting with like the base open source software. I mean, and there are millions of people around the world adding value to these blockchains every day and building upon other blockchain values.
Yes.
And I would say, like, with me and our other Michael that's on the team. So he's gives us a stable code base every like 18 months, a new version. And I have to say, he's done a phenomenal job, because our systems really don't crash. Our nodes don't crash. We have a lot of Electrum X servers that don't need to be rebooted every month like a lot of blockchains do. And so
Yep.
but we did use a lot of, we have some Digibyte code. So, they're a very diligent bunch. So again, we're building building on the shoulders of giants, right? And
Indeed. Well, I'll tell you, it is something else, and you need that, So we, of course, that developer that is constantly doing it, and this stuff is not easy. We're talking about, guys. It is impossible. It is currently impossible to counterfeit these blockchains. Okay, you can try all kinds of things, and you can try double spending and this and that and the other. And I mean, all of us have baked in some extra stuff on that too. But in theory, it's impossible to do that, and it is impossible. You can't just make up some fake Aurora coins or some fake Bitcoins or Global Boost coins or whatever, and introduce them into the network and say, yeah, this is Aurora Coin. Let me cash these in or use them for trade.
That's right.
Impossible.
Yeah, that's right. And and then there's layers of protection behind that, because we're every coin, even the smaller coins, have a very strong community base behind that, and things happen. Things happen, attacks on exchanges, attacks on miners, attacks on the coin, or people attacks. But with Aurora Coin, I think we've had maybe 3 or 4 events over the last decade, and I made sure that everybody was found resolution. I even, out of my own pocket, gave some Aurora coins to some miners who were they're like, oh, I lost my 200. I was like, 200. Yeah, okay, don't worry about it. Here's this, but like, send me that error message that you got, and let's kind of fix this. But don't worry about your Aurora coins. We got you covered there. So I think it's just really funny when we're watching the likes of Larry Fink and these large financial institutions, and then on the other side we have the Edward Snowden's. Whitney Webb is someone I've been listening to a bit lately, and she's this genius. And I think we have a lot of intellectual and intentional space and intentional energy that's coming from these projects and from this digitized financial system, right? Or blockchain financial system projects. I'm kind of repeating myself. I was hoping maybe to drop some birthday surprises on the community.
What do you got? What do you got, Mikkel?
Well, I wanted to say one thing, which is around 2015, I was back in Iceland, but I entered a journey of, I decided I wasn't going to cut my beard or cut my hair around 2015, while I felt that humanity was under like active attack by nefarious forces. So I want to tell everybody, excuse my, maybe my rough around the edges look. I kind of spent a lot of time in the edges, with edge cases within software, edges in the kind of messages and conversations I'll have downtown. My openness about who I really serve in this world. But I was going to share something with you. Here's a book that I was in about a year ago.
Nice.
The Joy of a Book by Neil Gaiman, which everybody knows he's a famous author, and it's a book on Lopapesa sweaters, which is Icelandic sweater. I'm wearing that here now. I'm in my little my one-room apartment in downtown Reykjavik. I live a simple life. I don't need a lot. I mean, I would like to have maybe a little bit of a comfortable retirement in 15 years, but we'll see how that handles itself out. And the reason I bring up this book is because there's just a lot of synchronicities that I want people to stay in touch with in this space when we're looking at seeing how we can improve the lives of our children. I don't have children, but how we can improve our children and our community. I'm sorry, I have some just rough points here. I'm going to be bouncing around a bit, but I want everybody to see the real me and not have the Aurora Coin front here, and because I kind of stand for what Aurora Coin stands for at this point, or vice versa. I'm the spokesman for Aurora Coin. I feel a lot of like the tremendous gracious gratitude that comes with a responsibility like this. And so I just wanted to expose myself a little bit more naturally today. I was reminded of this documentary I was in with Aurora Coin in 2018 by Vice, but I ran across something I had forgotten about, and I was thinking about Aurora Coin and whether it's a meme. It's not a meme coin, but then I was like, wait a second, is Aurora Coin a meme coin? Right? We have a Icelandic rune as a symbol that represents wealth, right? So it's a metaphor for something, right? And I was thinking about Dogecoin, and then I was reminded that the logo designer for Shiba Inu is Icelandic, actually.
Wow.
And in that documentary I had just mentioned to you, there was a scene where I was playing with an Icelandic fisherman, and we were talking about the 2008 crash. And it turns out the designer of the Shiba Inu coins' father was the fisherman in that story. So, just a lot of really fun things that have occurred on this project. And so one of the things I would like to do is we have about a couple 100,000 coins left. And so maybe I'll ask you guys about this. What do you think about we sponsor a airdrop for Greenland and the Faroe Islands?
I love it.
It's like maybe it's about like 60,000 coins, I think. Maybe like what 30 or something like that. 30-40.
Okay.
Something. So yeah. So I'm officially announcing that as a goal for this year. It's something I have planned for a long time.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. And because maybe it's kind of fun to play in a little bit of fantasy while we're dealing with these monsters. Because it's funny how art imitates life imitates art, manifestations, stuff like that. So maybe we'll build a Northern Alliance. Okay, right?
That's what it's all about. Absolutely, build the alliances. Like I said, this is what it's all about. This is a worldwide movement, guys. The monetary revolution. It is a worldwide movement. We have the central banks that have taken over almost every country. They've bypassed our governments. We have no control over these people. Most of us don't even know who they are, and we have our own system. And so we can use that. And what better of a coin than Aurora Coin to do something like this, to do a national drop for two countries, the one coin that did the national drop way back when in the beginning to do it. I love it.
Yep. And I think it's So okay, I'm gonna have to we can raise those coins. I also have a little bit of show and tell on some market stuff here. Like I said, I kind of, I don't know whether like call myself a crypto shaman or I think crypto Viking is taken, I think, I don't know, maybe apostle or, I would maybe go with like an Aurora Coin evangelist, but I also think that maybe, I would never dare use that term evangelist outside the context of the saving salvation grace of Jesus Christ. That's ultimately the big message, and that's the big message, and it's going to be really fun how those who are empowered for freedom, like ourselves. I don't know why Whitney Webb is on my mind a lot today, just because she's been speaking in this space a lot, but Larry Finks and that crew. Not to pick on Larry Fink or Jamie Dimon or any of these guys, but it's kind of funny when you're watching Davos. You're watching these politicians outside of a handful of world leaders, Lavrov. They're all just clowns. They're all clowns. So I don't know. Can I?
I agree.
Yeah,
as long as you don't curse, you call him whatever you want.
I mean, Trump may be a tiny bit cringe to listen to. I think that's what people don't understand. But I mean, what billionaire is not cringe to listen to? And you know, we need somebody that half of the country is willing to die on a hill for. You know, these are big themes, and I think a lot of people trivialize what the kind of themes that are going on. But
and
okay,
who else do we even have like that? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I mean none. I mean it's
even in the world. I mean, I guess
it's a foregone conclusion at this point in the election cycle. I mean, and we also have to remember that, like, okay, he's the flag bearer at this point, but he's not the savior, right? And so it's like, hey, let's get as much momentum as we can, but we all know what needs to be done on local and state levels, and wow, it's going on with the border. Okay, so now it's the Border Patrol versus the National Guard, right? Wow. So yeah, I have a few graphs. I don't know, like
please hit the present button, and we have a couple more minutes. Please share.
Present. There we go. Okay.
And then just follow the prompts. It'll say yes, and then you pick a tab.
Share screen on which? Okay, and then pick a tab. All right. So you can see me here. Okay. So we got some graphs. We're kind of I'm following the trend here of what I've seen. The reason I came to Coin Paprika is because if you really wanted to know the max numbers and how many's in circulation supply, I promised, or what was it called? Yeah, I validated that. Yeah, Coin Paprika is getting our numbers. We only have 17.9 million coins ever. That number is not 21 because of the burnt coins, and also because we forked in 2018 to add the extra algorithms. So here's these here. We're running at 500,000 market cap. So that's not a shameful size of a project to be leading the steerage on. We're number 19.
Let's be honest, it's ridiculously low, but sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in the top 2,000. Again, not a bad metric for a team of two people. That's just you know. And so here we go. This is a 1-year graph here. And right here is our last halving event. It was last July 23. So as you can see, we went from about 40 Satoshis to 80. So our supply went in half, our price doubled. So there's some solid numbers there. We're getting about $1,000 a day or maybe less in volume, which is fine as well, because I mean that just means that there's enough support out there to scoop up all the new mined coins every day. There's only 900 mined coins, so people are just filling their bags and just
honest. It's
and
honest
voting
volume.
with their money. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're voting with their Satoshis, right?
Right.
And okay, so to present another screen, I just go through the process again, I guess, right? So
well, we'll have to wrap up this show, but we'll have you on again.
Okay,
always a
then
pleasure.
I'll just leave it here. I'll just leave it here with the. Oh wait, I'm sorry, haven't shared it yet. I know you're cutting me off, but we're talking about proof of work coins, right?
Yes.
So Aurora Coin, we've got our 6 algos here. We've got my little mining pool here, which I was surprised. Okay, somebody's mining on my pool. It's 2 hours ago. But look at this list that we're here. We've got Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, eCash Digibyte, Aurora Coin.
There you are.
Yeah. And I guess, are you SHA-256 or no?
No. We're YesScript. No. We brought YesScript as a hashing algorithm, and we stuck with it. So we're actually working on some ASICs and stuff like that now. So, it's fun. It's the space is fun. It's fun to have your own stuff. And of course, like you guys, we've pumped pretty high too. Always fun to go 100x. And that's what we're looking at, I think, in the next, not financial advice and all that stuff we're supposed to say, but that's probably what coins like us are looking at over this.
Yeah, I mean, right. I look at the 2-year chart, and I'm like, oh, and then I go look at all the other charts, and it's the exact same, right?
Yes.
So there's nothing special about us except for the way that we, the timing of.
Well, and the thing is, it's not only is it impossible to freeze, seize, or all this other stuff, it's almost impossible to kill these things. We've walked away, but I'm sure both of us, we've walked away from these things and just worked on our life and gone on with our life for a bit, and then came back and they were still going. So they're alive. They are, even if something happens to us, they're going to continue. And that is something very special, that is introduced into the world. It's something new. It's still in its infancy, in its second decade. We're in the second decade of the in our second decade, right? So that's something else. Well, Mikhail, thank you so much for coming on, and twice in the same day, spending the 10th year anniversary with us. We really appreciate it. We're big fans. Let's pump it.
Well, you're gonna get me doing my own podcast somehow. I really thank thank you for the encouragement of doing that, and yeah, maybe I can make it easy for everybody and do some AMAs, because I'm sure there's just a lot of questions out there, and yeah, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of ideas.
We appreciate it, Mikhail.
A lot of love and gratitude.
Congratulations, Aurora.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.